Imagine this. Christmas morning 2025. Families gathered around trees, kids ripping open gifts, the smell of coffee and cinnamon rolls in the air. The sports world is supposed to be calm. NFL games later, NBA matchups, holiday vibes everywhere. But at exactly 10 a.m. Eastern, one notification hits like a bomb. Nike drops a 30-second masterpiece. A commercial called From Anywhere, starring Caitlin Clark. And in that moment, the WNBA's carefully built wall of equality above all starts to crack wide open. This wasn't just an ad. It was a statement. Deep threes from impossible spots. Cameos from Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, Travis Scott, Michael Che, even her college coach Lisa Blutter watching from the stands like a proud mom. Clark drains a game winner, stares straight into the camera, and says those two words, "From anywhere." Boom. The internet explodes. Views skyrocket into the millions within hours. Fans lose their minds. But inside WNBA headquarters? Absolute chaos. Why? Because this single commercial did what the league has desperately tried to avoid for years. It put one player so far above the rest that the collective philosophy Commissioner Cathy Engelbert has preached since day one suddenly looked outdated, fragile, even irrelevant. For 2 seasons, Caitlin Clark has been the rocket fuel for USA basketball's biggest growth era. Record viewership, sold-out arenas, merch flying off shelves. But the league's leadership has always pushed the narrative. No one is bigger than the WNBA. Every player matters equally. It's the shield against jealousy, against drama, against the volatility of star power. Yet here comes Nike, not the WNBA, telling the world Caitlin can make it from anywhere. From small-town Iowa. From college legend to pro phenom. From anywhere on the court with that unlimited range. And they're doing it with a $28 million signature deal that started before she even played a pro game. Insiders whisper the commissioner's office went into panic mode. Phones blowing up. Emails flying. Because this ad didn't just promote a shoe dropping in spring 2026. It exposed the tension that's been simmering under the surface. The league wants credit for Caitlin's rise. But the truth hurts. Her massive off-court empire? It was built before she ever wore a WNBA jersey. Nike believed in her when the league was still figuring out how to handle the spotlight she brought. And now, that spotlight is blinding. Some players quietly seethe. Others celebrate. But the commissioner? Reports say she was visibly shaken, seeing her vision of a team-first league challenged by one unstoppable individual brand. This is bigger than basketball. This is power. This is money. This is the future of women's sports. But what really sent the front office into rage mode? The timing. Christmas. The one day the noise was supposed to stop. It didn't. The ad dropped like a grenade and the fallout is just beginning. What happens when the league's biggest star outshines the league itself? Hold on. Because the real drama is only starting. Okay, you're still here. Good. Because what happened next was pure fire. The From Anywhere commercial wasn't just viral. It became a cultural moment. Within minutes, clips flooded every platform. Fans recreating the deep shots in driveways. Kids yelling from anywhere, on playgrounds. Even non-basketball people were talking. But behind closed doors in the WNBA offices, it wasn't celebration. It was damage control. Think about it. Commissioner Engelbert has spent years building this image of unity. The 144 players. One brand. No favorites. It's the mantra that keeps egos in check and protects the league from becoming the Caitlin Clark show. Then Nike, independent of the league, drops this ad on the biggest holiday stage possible. No approval needed. No coordination. Just pure, unfiltered Caitlin dominance. Sources close to the situation say the reaction was visceral. Anger. Frustration. Even fear. Because this commercial didn't just sell shoes, it sold a narrative the league couldn't control. Caitlin's journey, from West Des Moines to NCAA all-time scorer. From record-breaking rookie year to battling injuries in 2025. Yet still the face of growth. Her Nike deal? Signed in college. Expanded post-draft. Worth tens of millions. And the league? They've been fighting for better pay, better CBA terms, but here was proof. One player is already winning massive off the court. Some insiders claim Engelbert felt blindsided. The holiday ceasefire shattered. Instead of family time, it was crisis meetings. What? Because the ad subtly highlighted what many players whisper. The league's platform helped, but Caitlin's stardom was bigger than any team or organization. Remember the alleged comment that leaked earlier? The one where the commissioner supposedly told Nafisa Collier that Caitlin should be grateful for the WNBA's platform? that fire was already burning. Now Nike just poured gasoline. The ad shows Clark rising above doubters. Challenges from celebrities. Can you make it from here? And she does, every time. It's inspiring. Empowering. But to a league obsessed with equality, it felt like a threat. Suddenly, the power dynamic shifted. Nike isn't just a sponsor. They're the kingmaker. And Caitlyn? She's no longer just a player. She's a global brand. Fans split online. Some cheered, finally someone recognizes her impact. Others defended the collective. This hurts the league's unity. But the real question burning in everyone's mind, did the commissioner just witness the moment women's basketball changed forever? Because if one player can eclipse the entire organization on Christmas morning, what happens when her signature shoe actually drops? The tension is thick. The rage is real. And we're just getting started. You're back. Let's turn up the heat. By 10:30 a.m. Christmas morning, the WNBA social media team was already in full meltdown. Delete and pray mode activated. Multiple league accounts rushed out generic holiday posts trying to drown out the noise. Too late. The algorithm had already chosen its winner. The real panic wasn't about the views. It was about the message. Nike's From Anywhere didn't just show Caitlyn making impossible shots. It told a story the league has spent years carefully avoiding. One woman can carry the entire sport on her back. Think about the timeline. 2024, Caitlyn enters the league, viewership doubles overnight. 2025, she battles through injuries, still averages 19+ PPG, leads the league in assists, sells out every road arena. Late 2025, Nike quietly expands her signature line, announces the official shoe drop for spring 2026. Christmas 2025, they unleash the most perfectly timed, emotionally charged commercial in women's basketball history. And the league? They weren't even in the room when the decision was made. That's the part that reportedly stung the most. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has repeatedly said the league's growth is a collective effort. She's fought for better media rights, higher salaries, charter flights. All true. All important. But the brutal reality hitting home on Christmas morning was this. The biggest single driver of that growth wasn't a new TV deal. It wasn't expanded roster spots. It was one 6-foot blonde from Iowa with unlimited range and ice in her veins. And now Nike was screaming it to the world. Insider leaks started trickling out within hours. Words like furious, blindsided, disrespectful timing were being thrown around in private group chats. One high-ranking staffer allegedly told a friend, "We're supposed to be having a peaceful holiday. Instead, we're putting out fires because a sneaker company decided to anoint a queen." Meanwhile, across social media, the divide was crystal clear. Team Caitlyn. Finally, someone gives her the credit she deserves. Fire. She's bigger than the league, and that's okay. Let her shine. Team Collective. This is exactly why the league pushes equality. One player getting this much attention creates resentment. Nike just made every other player feel small. Both sides had a point. And that's exactly why the commissioner's rage was reportedly so intense. Because deep down, the ad wasn't just about shoes. It was a declaration of independence. Caitlyn Clark's brand was no longer fully dependent on the WNBA. The WNBA was now, at least in the public eye, dependent on Caitlyn Clark. When the biggest sponsor on the planet chooses Christmas morning to remind everyone who the real face of women's basketball is, that's not a commercial. That's a power move. And the league never saw it coming. But the real explosion? It hadn't even happened yet. Because the very next day, players started talking. December 26, 2025. The day after the bomb. Most of the sports world is still digesting turkey leftovers and holiday hangovers. But inside the WNBA locker rooms and group chats? Or several prominent players, ones who've been vocal about equity and collective growth, posted cryptic messages. Nothing direct. Nothing name-dropping. But the subtext was deafening. One all-star posted a simple photo of the entire 2025 championship team celebrating together with the caption, "Family over everything." Another veteran shared a story highlighting all the women who paved the way, with zero mention of the commercial that had dominated headlines for 24 straight hours. Then came the quote that lit the match. A respected veteran, speaking anonymously to a sports reporter, dropped this bomb. "It's hard to preach, we're all in this together, when one person is getting treated like she's carrying the entire sport, and another company is telling the world she's bigger than all of us combined." That line spread like wildfire. Suddenly the conversation shifted from "great ad" to "is this hurting the league?" Veteran players who had grinded for years in half-empty arenas before Caitlyn arrived were now being asked in comment sections, "Why are you mad she's getting paid?" The answer most gave publicly? "We're not mad. We're proud." But privately? The temperature was rising fast. And then the commissioner made her first public move since the ad dropped. A carefully worded statement released late on the 26th. "The WNBA celebrates all of our incredible athletes and partners. We're proud of the historic growth we've achieved together as a league. We look forward to an exciting 2026 season." Translation for anyone who reads between the lines: we're not happy, but we're not going to war publicly yet. Behind the scenes though, multiple sources say Engelbert held emergency calls with Nike executives. The message was clear: "Next time, give us a heads up." Nike's reported response? Polite, but firm. "We don't need approval to celebrate our athletes." Mic drop. That single sentence reportedly sent the commissioner's inner circle into another spiral, because it confirmed the new reality everyone was afraid to say out loud. The old power structure is dying. The league used to hold the keys. Now the biggest brands and the biggest stars hold the keys. And on Christmas morning 2025, Nike used those keys to unlock a door the WNBA never wanted opened. The question everyone is now asking: can the league survive when its biggest star is no longer fully under its control? The answer is coming faster than anyone expected. And some players are already choosing sides. The silence didn't last long. January 2nd, 2026, just days after the holiday fallout, one of the league's most respected veterans finally broke ranks in a very public way. During a podcast appearance on a major sports network, the player, who asked to remain unnamed in this script for obvious reasons, didn't hold back. "I love what Caitlyn's doing for the game. She's special. But when your biggest sponsor drops a commercial on Christmas that basically says, 'She made it from anywhere, not we made it together,' it stings. It stings for the women who've been here 10, 15, 20 years carrying this league when nobody was watching." The internet detonated. Within minutes, hashtags started trending. Hashtag respect those. Hashtag Caitlyn or collective. Hashtag WNB unity. Caitlyn's most loyal fans fired back hard. "She earned every bit of this. Stop the hate." The league grew 300% because of her. Be grateful. The divide was no longer subtle. It was a full-blown fracture. And right in the middle of it stood Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, trying to hold the pieces together while the roof was literally on fire. Multiple reports from people inside the league offices described the atmosphere as tense, almost toxic. Emergency player leadership meetings were called. Zoom calls with team captains. Private dinners with star veterans. All trying to prevent what many feared most: a quiet boycott mentality creeping into the 2026 season. One anonymous source close to the commissioner's inner circle put it bluntly: "She's terrified this becomes the moment the league loses control of its own narrative. If players start feeling like second-class citizens in their own house because of one player's off-court empire, we're in serious trouble." Meanwhile, Nike stayed completely silent after that one line to the commissioner: "We don't need approval to celebrate our athletes." Translation: we're not sorry. And we're not stopping. The spring 2026 signature shoe drop was already being hyped as the most anticipated women's basketball release ever. Pre-orders opened in early January. Sold out in under 90 minutes. That number alone told the story the league didn't want told. Caitlyn Clark had become a commercial force the WNBA could no longer fully contain or claim credit for. By mid-January 2026, the tension had reached a boiling point. Rumors swirled that certain veteran players were quietly asking for opt-out clauses in future Nike deals. Others were allegedly pushing for more equal spotlight campaigns from the league office. And through it all, Caitlyn herself? She stayed above the fray. No clapbacks. No interviews addressing the drama. Just training, rehabbing her ankle, and preparing for what everyone knows is coming. The most pressure-packed WNBA season in history. But the real question everyone is asking now isn't about shoes or commercials. It's this: can the WNBA survive its own success? Because when your biggest star becomes bigger than the league either evolves fast or it breaks. And right now, it's cracking. Fast forward to January 9th, 2026, today. The From Anywhere commercial has surpassed 45 million views across platforms. That's more than the viewership of the entire 2023 WNBA Finals combined. Let that sink in. One 30-second sneaker ad outperformed years of playoff basketball. That single statistic is the nuclear proof point the commissioner's critics are using behind closed doors. They're saying, if the league's biggest growth moment is being carried by a shoe commercial instead of actual games, we have a massive problem. And they're not entirely wrong. Engelbert knows it too. Insiders say she's been in crisis mode for weeks, not just reacting to the ad, but trying to architect the next chapter before the fracture becomes permanent. Multiple sources report she's personally pushing 3 major initiatives behind the scenes. A massive all-rise league-wide marketing campaign launching before the 2026 season, designed to spotlight every franchise, every veteran, every rookie. Quiet negotiations with Nike to co-brand future big moments instead of letting them go rogue. Internal messaging to players emphasizing shared success while gently reminding everyone that individual brands thrive because the collective platform exists. But there's a problem. Many players aren't buying it. The veterans feel they've waited long enough. The younger stars see Caitlin's path and want the same freedom. And the middle group? They're just tired of the drama. One anonymous all-star reportedly told teammates, "I don't hate Caitlin. I hate that we're now fighting over who gets to eat the food she brought to the table." That line is being whispered in every locker room right now. Meanwhile, Caitlin continues doing what she does best, letting her game speak. She posted one simple Instagram story yesterday, a gym shot, ball in hand caption. "Back to work. See you in May." No drama. No response to the noise. Just pure, ice-cold focus. And that silence? It's driving the narrative even harder. Because while the league scrambles to control the story, Caitlin is already writing the next chapter on her own terms. The 2026 season isn't just about wins and losses anymore. It's about whether the WNBA can handle having a generational superstar who no longer needs permission to shine. The commissioner wanted a collective. Nike and Caitlin just proved something else entirely. Sometimes one star really can carry the whole sky. And the real fireworks? They're coming when the ball tips off in May. It's January 9th, 2026, right now, and the temperature inside the WNBA is hotter than any summer game we've ever seen. The From Anywhere commercial has officially crossed 52 million views in just over 2 weeks. That's not a typo. More eyeballs than the combined viewership of the last 3 WNBA finals. And today, the first public cracks are showing in real time. This morning, a veteran all-star, someone who's been in the league since before Caitlin could legally drive, went live on Instagram for the first time since the holidays. She didn't name names. She didn't have to. Her message was 47 seconds long and cut like a knife. "I've given my body, my time, my prime years to this league when the lights were off and the seats were empty. I'm happy for the growth. I really am. But growth should lift all of us, not just one. That's all I'll say." She ended the live. No Q&A. No follow-up post. Just dropped the mic and walked away. Within 20 minutes the clip was everywhere. SportsCenter ran it on loop. Barstool turned it into memes. WNBA Twitter split into armed camps. The pro-collective crowd called it real talk. The pro-Caitlin side called it jealousy disguised as principle. And the commissioner's office? They've gone radio silent in public, but the phones are ringing off the hook. Multiple league sources confirmed that Engelbert is now in daily crisis meetings with player reps, Nike liaisons, media partners, and even select team owners. The agenda is brutally simple. How do we stop this from becoming a full-blown civil war before tip-off in May? Because make no mistake, the 2026 season is no longer just about basketball. It's about power, legacy, money, and whether the WNBA can handle having a supernova who refuses to dim her light for anyone. Here's the stat that keeps getting repeated in every closed-door conversation. In 2025, Caitlin Clark single-handedly accounted for roughly 38% of the league's total regular season social media engagement. 38%. 1 out of every 3 likes, comments, shares, and views belong to her. That number is the silent scream behind every collective speech. The league loves the revenue. They love the sold-out arenas. They love the new TV deals. But they hate not being able to control the narrative around the biggest reason all of that exists. And Nike? They're not slowing down. Today they dropped a teaser photo on their official account. Caitlin mid-jump, ball extended, skyline behind her, simple text overlay. From Anywhere. Spring 2026. No league logo. No WNBA watermark. Just Caitlin. And the clock. The message is unmistakable. We're building an empire. And we're doing it with or without your blessing. So here we stand, January 9th, 2026, 4 months from opening tip. The league is bleeding unity. Players are choosing sides. The commissioner is fighting to keep the roof from collapsing. And Caitlin Clark? She's just working. But the real explosion everyone is waiting for hasn't happened yet. Because when that signature shoe finally hits shelves in a few months, everything changes again. Spring 2026 is no longer a launch date. It's a deadline. Nike's marketing team has turned the rollout into a cultural event. Limited city-specific colorways. Pop-up shops in Des Moines, Indianapolis, New York, LA. A documentary short dropping the week before release. Even rumors of a surprise concert tie-in with Travis Scott. This isn't a shoe drop. It's a coronation. And the WNBA knows it. Insiders say the league office is now split into two camps. Camp 1, embrace her. Ride the wave. Let Caitlin be the rising tide that lifts every boat. Camp 2, if we don't reassert control now, we lose the ability to ever do it again. We become the NFL's minor league. The commissioner is reportedly leaning toward Camp 2, but she's running out of time and leverage. Because here's the cold, hard truth that nobody wants to say out loud. The WNBA's current media rights deal, salary cap structure, and revenue-sharing model were all negotiated before Caitlin became a global phenomenon. Those numbers were based on a league that averaged 600 to 700K viewers per game. Now they're pushing 2 million plus on big nights. The players know it. The agents know it. The sponsors know it. And when the next CBA negotiations begin later this year, every veteran, every rookie, every agent is going to walk into that room holding screenshots of the From Anywhere commercial views, the shoe pre-order numbers, and the engagement stats and say one thing. If one player can generate this much, imagine what we can do when the entire league gets paid like it. That conversation is coming. And when it does, Commissioner Engelbert will either be the leader who finally delivers transformative change, or the one who couldn't stop the train she helped build. Meanwhile, Caitlin keeps posting quiet gym clips. No trash talk. No victory lap. Just relentless work. But the message is crystal clear to anyone paying attention. She didn't start the fire. She's just the one who brought the gasoline and the match. April will bring training camp drama. May will bring opening night sold-out crowds screaming her name. And sometime between now and then, the league will have to decide. Do they try to contain the supernova? Or do they finally let it shine and light up the entire sport? Because trying to hold back a star this bright has never ended well in sports history. The clock is ticking. And the next chapter? It's going to be seismic. We're at the tipping point. January 9th, 2026, tonight, and the WNBA is no longer just dealing with a viral sneaker ad. It's dealing with an identity crisis that could reshape women's professional basketball for the next decade. The latest development dropped just hours ago. A group of 12 veteran players, representing nearly every championship-winning franchise from the last 15 years, released a joint open letter. No press conference. No dramatic video. Just a clean one-page statement posted simultaneously on their personal accounts. Key excerpt that's blowing up right now. We have proudly carried this league through every era of struggle and growth. We welcome and celebrate the new era of visibility and revenue. However, visibility must be shared equitably. When external partners elevate one individual above the collective without league coordination, it undermines the unity that has sustained us for 30 years. We ask the Commissioner and the league office to reaffirm our shared values and ensure all players benefit from the success we've built together. They didn't tag Caitlin. They didn't mention Nike. They didn't have to. Within 45 minutes, the letter had been quote-tweeted over 18,000 times. The replies section is a battlefield. One side, this is professional jealousy in formal language. Let the girl eat. The other side, these women have earned the right to speak. The league can't pretend one player is the entire movement. Commissioner Engelbert's team reportedly had less than 2 hours warning before the letter went live. Sources say her response was immediate and intense. A late-night video call with the entire WNBA executive board, team owners, and top Nike representatives. The goal? Damage control before tomorrow morning's headlines write themselves. But the real damage is already done. The letter has crystallized what many have whispered for months. There are now two competing visions for the future of the WNBA. Vision A, the Commissioner's original blueprint. A rising tide lifts all boats. Shared spotlight. Collective bargaining power. Gradual, sustainable growth. Vision B, the one Nike and Caitlin's meteoric rise have accidentally, or intentionally, created. Star-driven momentum. Individual brands that can outpace the league itself. Faster growth, higher risk, bigger rewards for the chosen few. Right now the league is trying desperately to live in Vision A, while the money, the eyeballs, and the cultural momentum are sprinting toward Vision B. And the players? They're being forced to pick a side, whether they want to or not. Veterans who sacrificed years in obscurity feel they deserve the fruits of the new era. Younger players see Caitlyn's path and want the same freedom to build their own empires. Rookies coming in next year will enter a league that's already divided over the very thing that's making it explode in popularity. Tonight, January 9, 2026, is the night the WNBA stopped being able to pretend everything is fine. The commissioner has one last window, maybe weeks, maybe months, to thread the needle. She can't. The fracture becomes permanent, and the league that finally got its moment in the sun might just burn itself out trying to contain the brightest flame it's ever produced. But there's one final chapter still unwritten, and it starts in May 2026, opening night. The arena is packed 18,000 strong. The broadcast numbers are projected to shatter every previous record. The world is watching, and in the middle of it all stands Caitlin Clark, not as a rookie anymore, not even as a star, as the undeniable gravitational center of an entire sport. The signature shoe is on shelves. The From Anywhere commercial is at 120+ million views. Every major endorsement deal is in place. Her jersey sales are outpacing the rest of the league combined. And yet, she still hasn't said a single word about the drama. Not one interview. Not one social media post. Not one subtle caption. She's let her game, her work, and her silence do the talking. That silence is deafening. Because while the league has spent months trying to rebalance the narrative, while veterans have spoken out, while the commissioner has fought to hold the collective together, Caitlin has done the one thing no one can control. She's kept winning. And winning quietly. Insiders close to the situation now believe the commissioner has quietly shifted strategy. The All Rise campaign is still launching, but it's been retooled. Instead of fighting the star power, they're trying to harness it. Every ad, every promo, every broadcast package now features Caitlin prominently, alongside veterans, rookies, and under-the-radar contributors. It's the league's final olive branch. We can't stop you from being bigger than us, so we're going to make sure everyone rises with you. Whether the veterans accept that olive branch remains to be seen. Whether the younger players demand even more freedom is still an open question. But one thing is crystal clear on this night in May 2026. The WNBA will never go back to what it was before Christmas morning 2025. The collective is forever changed. The power dynamic has permanently shifted. Women's basketball has its first true global megastar, and she answers to no one except her own work ethic. Commissioner Engelbert's rage on that Christmas morning wasn't just about a commercial. It was about witnessing the future arrive faster than anyone was ready for. And now that future is here. So the final question isn't whether Caitlin Clark is bigger than the WNBA. It's whether the WNBA can become big enough to contain her, or whether she'll simply redefine how big the entire league can become. Either way, love her, resent her, fear her, celebrate her. One thing is undeniable. Caitlin Clark didn't just change the game. She changed the rules. And the sport of women's basketball will never be the same. Thanks for riding this story all the way to the end. If you believe the WNBA is heading for its biggest era ever, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Team Collective or Team Caitlin? Or are you just here for the fireworks? I'll see you in May.